Yes guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a tier list breakdown. It's been a while now since I've done a video on this topic, and we have a lot of new inclusions to this tier list, such as of course the new Demon King Piccolo and the new Broly. We also have the inclusion of the Kid Buu and Angel Vegeta, Launch, and of course the Yamcha, and the new Buuhan. And then we have Zenkai Super Saiyan 3 LF Goku. We also have the Zenkai Metal Cooler and the Zenkai Yellow Vegeta. So we have a lot of units to cover. We have to talk about their positions on the tier list and what other movements have happened since my last video, which was done at the end of January. So it's been a while since I've actually done a video on this topic, but without further ado, let's get into it, and let's actually start off with talking about what has changed since the last video. You have the tier list on screen, but a lot of units have been moving up and down. I've moved a lot of units from A to B. I've taken units completely off the tier list that weren't viable, like the LF Goten and units like that, and I've just moved a lot of units from basically Z to S plus down to S down to A, and A down to B. I think about 5 or 6 units I've just moved down in tier, and just because obviously it's been a while since I've done the video, and the meta isn't quite shifting, but power creep obviously is taking place. So let's actually start off with the new units. We have Launch and Yamcha, who are, well, basically Launch is the last unit on S+. She's a very good unit. I personally don't have her, but from what I've seen, she's on a very good team, of course, female warriors, with Vados, very good support unit, Android 18, one of the best units in the game, of course. She's number 2 on the tier list, and she has great support, and she does a lot of damage herself, so she's a very, very good unit, if I do say so myself. Then we have the Yamcha, who is basically like Hit, but he's like on a better team, I think, than Hit, so he's slightly above Hit, obviously, in this tier list, one whole tier above Hit, and he does do good with crit damage and stuff like that. So he's a very good unit. Dragon Ball Saga is becoming a very good team with the likes of Demon King Piccolo and the Zenkai Demon King Piccolo, and we also have the likes obviously of Launch and now the new Yamcha, so they have a solid core on that team, and it's a team that's becoming viable slowly but surely. Then let's move on to the next units that released, which were the Angel Vegeta and the LF Kid Buu. Angel Vegeta is sitting in a very good position on this tier list in S+, between LF Beerus and between Jiren. He's a very, very good support unit. He just works fantastically when paired alongside other Goku units, which is what you really want to do with him. And he's just great support, great substitution count manipulation, which is fantastic for every single unit that has that. That's just a big bonus, and he's great. Honestly, he's really good, has a great cover change, and he's a unit that's going to age really well, similar to Vados, just because of how good those supportive capabilities are. And as soon as we start getting more stars on him, he's going to be really good. He isn't the highest hitter right now. This is me saying it with him at 6 stars. But Vados, for example, who when I did have her at 6 stars, she wasn't hitting very hard. Now that I have her at 9 stars, I can really tell the difference, and she's a very, very good unit. So now let's talk about the LF Kid Buu, who is phenomenal. I don't have him, and I really wish I did. I've gone about 12.5k deep on his banner. I wasn't lucky enough to pull him, basically, so I don't know, maybe I'll jump back in, maybe I won't, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but he is a phenomenal unit. Just incredible how he plays with his Vanishing Gauge. His blast damage is fantastic, and his ultimate is just ridiculous as well. He does a lot of damage, and he's basically a unit that's meant to be used well, similar to UI Goku, where if you can get the best out of him, you will see how ridiculously good he actually is. So that's why he is in Z tier, and he's one of the only non-Zenkais that is on Z tier, alongside the new Demon King Piccolo, which we'll get onto in a minute, the Green Rose and the Revival Cell. Those are the other units that are non-Zenkais and you know, on Z tier, which is hard to get into right now. I think everyone can agree with that. So let's actually talk about the Demon King Piccolo next. He's fantastic. He takes a little bit long to transform, but once he's transformed, he's incredible, like so much damage, and honestly one of the better units you can summon for right now. His Z ability is incredible, phenomenal. 3 tags, 30% double buff, that's ridiculous. Especially, like we said, Dragon Ball Saga's picking up traction now. We also have Regen and Powerful Opponent, another team that just keeps getting a lot of support and is a team that's going to be great in the future. So if you are looking to invest into the Powerful Opponent team, the current All-Star banner isn't a bad option. If you were able to get Kid Buu, I would highly recommend dropping a couple thousand crystals on this banner with the Broly and the Demon King Piccolo. If you get the Broly, you're coming away with a great bench unit, because we'll get onto him in a second. But if you get the Piccolo, you really come away with a fantastic unit who's going to be a great unit moving forward with his transformation, with his really high stats. He's going to last a long time in the meta. So let's now talk about the Broly. Really underwhelming. He is just so average. They really, I don't know what they did with him, honestly. I expected him to be a lot better than he actually is, because they dedicated a whole preview to him on a video and stuff, and honestly he just hasn't lived up to the hype. He's decent, he does a lot of damage with his ultimate, but that's about it. I mean, you can't get anything else out of him. It's like you have to run him with Bardock, with the Super Saiyan Bardock, just to give him that extra bit of damage that he needs with those crit buffs, because if not, he's really not doing anything special. So that's why he is pretty low on the S+ tier, and that's purely down to his Z ability, because it is a fantastic Z ability, giving Powerful Opponent an HP buff. That moving forward is going to be huge, but I do personally regret spending 2,000 crystals extra to get the boost missions for him to get him to 6 stars. I didn't really need to do that, because he will come back on future banners. So I'm not going to summon more on the banner just because I don't have Piccolo, but he'll come back in the future, so I'm not too worried about that right now. So next is the free-to-play Buuhan. We've talked about the 6 banner units that have released since my last video on this topic. So next is Buuhan. The free-to-play Buuhan is phenomenal when it comes to blast damage, but he can't take a hit and he can't do any damage with strike cards. So I don't know, he's kind of a one-trick pony to me. He has a good green card, and he does damage, like I said, with his blast cards, but those buffs can be cancelled, and other than that, like I said, he just doesn't do anything. But he's still better than Broly, in my opinion, so that's why he is 4th bottom on the S+ tier. Still pretty high, but I mean, he's at 14 stars, so he does do a lot of damage. Obviously grind him up because he is a free-to-play unit, and he's actually very good on a full free-to-play team with the EX second form Zenkai Cell, who is also free, and the Zenkai Blue 21 on a blue-purple team. That's fantastic. And now we have the free EX Buu, who does 40% double buff to blue and purple at 6 stars. So if you do want to run a blue-purple team, that team's extremely free to play. So if you want to do that, make sure you just grind those units, because it's worth it. I've used that team and it is very fun, if I do say so myself. So now let's talk about the Zenkai units that have come out. We have the Yellow Frieza first. He is so situational. If you come up against a Saiyan team, he's going to be great, honestly. He does so much damage, but as soon as you come up against any other team, he doesn't do anything. He's literally, it's like if he's not even there. Like, he's good, but he's not good enough to be in a high tier. And right now, since we do have a lot of other teams, not just Saiyans in this meta, Regen is a top team, Android's a top team, Powerful Opponent, of course. We have a lot of teams. God Key isn't fully Saiyan, so he's going to have a hard time against those teams, and that's why he isn't higher on this tier list. I've only put him top of S tier. You could argue he maybe breaks into S+, but for me, not really, just because he is that situational. He is also like a one-trick pony because he's only incredible against Saiyan teams. Then we have the Metal Cooler, who's a lot better than the Frieza, in my opinion. I've put him just below the Final Form Cooler, and I think the best core for LOE is the Metal Cooler, alongside maybe the Blue Cooler, and then of course the LF Frieza. He's still a great support for that team, although individually he's not the best unit, and that's why he is pretty low on the tier list. As you can see, around the bottom of S tier, he is actually still very good for that team, and the Metal Cooler is very good. I mean, he's not fantastic, but he does do a lot of annoying things like destroy cards, make your cost go up, and he does a lot of damage with his blue card. So overall, a pretty good unit that heals the whole team as well, and yeah, they just made him really solid. kind of mid-tier Zenkai. I don't know. For being a new Zenkai, I kind of expected him to be better, but unfortunately that's not the case with him. And then we have the Super Saiyan LF Goku, Super Saiyan 3 LF Goku should I say, who got his Zenkai recently. He's very good, one of the hardest hitters in the game, but he doesn't quite break into the category of broken Zenkai like the LF Gohan or the Android 18s of this world, just because he isn't the best defensively. His green card for me still isn't incredible. It's good, it's much better than it was, but it's not, you know, incredible. It can still sit in your box or in your, you know, in your deck for a long time until you actually get to use that green card, and when you do, you have to time it right. I don't know, it's got a bit of play to it, but he is a very good unit. Obviously his ultimate hits like a truck, and paired with the Angel Vegeta, like I said, fantastic unit. He is, you know, a top 10 unit in the game pretty much, like almost around there, top 10, top 15. You could make the argument, because obviously if you are in the Z tier, any of those units are pretty much interchangeable. You can make arguments for all of them because they're all fantastic. Well, changes to this tier list, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is still third, the Super Saiyan 3 purple one of course. The Gogeta's moved back up into Z plus tier. He was down in Z tier in the last tier list. Trunks has moved down to Z tier just because he's not the tankiest of units. Bardock keeps his place in Z plus. The Namek Goku and the Goku Blue still in Z tier, and of course we have the Revival Cell and the Green Goku Black, still phenomenal non-Zenkai units that keep their place in Z tier just because of obviously Cell's revival mechanic, and Goku Black's just fantastic key recovery. He heals with everything, he stacks buffs, he has a Zenkai kit in his, you know, on his own. Like, he's phenomenal. My favorite unit in the game, by the way, so I'm really happy to see that he got the treatment he got. And other than that, we just see Regen coming back to life with the LF Kid Buu. We have the Blue 21, the DKP, and the Majin Buu all in Z tier, and Revival Cell of course, so their whole core team is all in Z tier. Very, very good, and the DKP who just released. So yeah, great team. Regen is a team that moving forward, I've always said is going to get a lot of support. So they're a team that you should invest in if you do plan to, you know, have a great team in the long run. Other than that, the new Green 21 has dropped down to S plus tier. Still phenomenal. She's, you know, top of S plus, and she's just great. So much damage, and the cover rescue is just so useful. Then we have the 16 just behind her, best tank in the game still to this day. LF Piccolo drops down to S plus, as well as the LF Gohan, Broly, UI Goku, and Topo. And like I said, I have dropped a few units down in tiers. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. It's just a few units shifting here and there. I do want you guys to let me know what you think of this tier list, what you agree with, what you disagree with, and the changes you would make, of course. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Like this video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you are new around here for more Dragon Ball Legends content, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.